All right, yes. If you have not heard, Xbox Game Pass is indeed raising their prices again. It's been a bit, and the last time this happened, a lot of us were freaking out. And honestly, everybody on the internet's going to be freaking out today. So if you're expected to be just me to be another person that's just going to be complaining through this whole thing, explaining how much this sucks, that's not really what I'm going to be here for, because everybody else is going to be doing that. If you want to see everybody complain about this, the internet's going to be full of that today and tomorrow. So I don't really need to add upon that. What I would like to do is really figure out, like, at this new, for at least Game Pass Ultimate, it went from $20 to $30 now. That's half the price of what used to be a full-priced game, basically. So, who is Xbox Game Pass Ultimate still for? That's kind of the backbone to this whole thing. There's a poll I asked you guys about. I've been thinking, like, if I didn't have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, to which I have been a subscriber to for over 5 years now, what games would I have bought this year? And just genuinely just thinking about that question is, what is Xbox Game Pass now as a $30 Ultimate tier? There's smaller tiers. You don't have to do $30, but the title Best Value in Gaming has gone to Xbox Game Pass for many years now. But now that they have raised the prices, I think that is something that we can question. I'm Samurai Kibaji, a dude that loves to speculate and react to gaming stuff with you. If you'd like to do that more, subscribe. And I haven't done much Xbox content in a long time, but I think this is something that's worth discussing together. That's what I love to do with you, is just share our ideas. And I'm not going to be summarizing everything either. If you want to know the whole piece of news, again, tons of people are already doing that for you on YouTube. You could read through the Xbox Wire here yourself, but this is a good graphic to kind of explain it, you know? This is what you're getting now. And this is just, I don't know, there's $10 a month, there's $15 a month, there's $30. $30 is a lot, man. That's a lot. And that's why I just want to dive into that question, because I have always justified Xbox Game Pass for me over the years. At first, I wasn't immediately in love with it. I just used it to play Gears 5. But then I stuck around with it, and then I got to play Outer Wilds. I got to play Undertale. I got to play Hellblade. I got to play these games that I never might have touched before because of Game Pass. And that's going to come up a bit as I answer this question, who's Game Pass for now? But when you look at $30, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate used to be $15 when they introduced it. And there are new benefits now, though. You'll see down here, Ubisoft Plus. Kind of like how EA Play is an Ultimate, they're adding Ubisoft Plus, which is going to add a crap ton of Ubisoft games. And one in particular I'm looking forward to is Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, I think. I think that was last year or the year before, and people were raving about that game. That's really exciting. I'd love to play that at some point. I played that as a demo at PAX one year. Never played Assassin's Creed. Now I can jump into Assassin's Creed games. And who knows? Star Wars Outlaws might be coming to the service soon with that. Now, there's somebody else that already has Ubisoft Plus, so it's not like that's a brand new thing entirely. But there's other things that I think is worth acknowledging. And there's going to be people watching this video and thinking, like, how can you possibly justify this? I'm not justifying it. I'm trying to really explain it and who this could potentially still be for. Because, again, everybody's going to be talking about how much this sucks today. So there's plenty of people already doing that. I don't need to add to that fire. But there's a lot of other in-game benefits. And the thing that really I want to break down, kind of, is Fortnite Crew and Ubisoft Classics coming, because I have a bunch of tabs here. Fortnite Crew. I had no idea what this was. I've been on Discord all morning back and forthing with people to collect my thoughts, and I'm like, what even is Fortnite Crew? And apparently, it's a $12 monthly subscription that lets you get access to the Battle Pass, OG Pass, Lego Pass, Music Pass, and subscribers also get special items and 1,000 V-Bucks every month. if I was a Fortnite player and constantly playing the game every month and enjoy unlocking things, that's a really, really cool thing. However, I am not, as maybe you are not. But we do have to acknowledge that Fortnite is what it is. There's like no end to the number of people that are playing it. And now $12 a month, that's added as a benefit to Game Pass Ultimate. And that, I think, kind of goes with Call of Duty. Which is really funny, by the way, because another thing to point out, there's a video, if you look around, what's new and what's changing with Xbox Game Pass. Xbox posted this, and it's about 4 minutes. It's a video version of explaining it. Again, things I don't need to do for you. But what I think is really funny is at the bottom here, she's explaining Xbox Game Pass Premium, which is now the new standard. It's the middle tier, which hasn't changed too much. You'll get first-party releases within the first year of launch, but not day one. That's that middle tier again. That's not Ultimate. I had to clarify that this morning for someone. But apparently, this middle tier does not include Call of Duty titles. And this is what I'm getting at, is that it's like the essential tier, which was core, and the premium tier, which was standard, they're there if you want them. But Ultimate is now where you're going to get those Call of Duty titles day one. Ultimate is where you're going to be to get freaking Fortnite Crew every month if you're a freaking Fortnite player. It's a free-to-play game, but that's $12 that really benefit you if you play that game. There's also Ubisoft Plus, which is going to add a bunch of older Ubisoft games, kind of like EA Play, which was already in Xbox. However, it's interesting because PlayStation was kind of already doing this. PlayStation Plus for a while, that was kind of like their competition at Xbox for EA Play. If you're subscribed to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you had EA Play Basic, and PlayStation Plus, the middle and higher tier people, Ubisoft Plus Classics. So now Xbox is like, hey, we got that and EA Play with Ultimate, which is another $8 a month value. Now, that's cool and all, but what I really wish they talk about the options with this, they talk about like, we revamp these tiers to give players options. Wouldn't it be cool if there was, I think it's a little bit crazy to have more than 3 tiers, honestly, which there technically is with PC Game Pass, to which I was worried. Are you going to touch PC Game Pass? Apparently they're not. Really quick, I want to point that out, that there's a good article at Windows Central that broke down the before and afters of the values. Game Pass Core is pretty much the same. Standard is pretty much the same in terms of money. There's some things added. But PC Game Pass, they're rising the price of that by essentially $4 or $5. But it's basically the same thing. And PC Game Pass is still seeming like the best option to do because you'll have those day one titles. You'll get the EA Play Vault. You will not get Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is what the lower tiers now have. That was something that was only on Ultimate before, but now the lower tiers have it. But the thing that I want to point out is they're doing all this for options. What if there was a tier in the middle of Premium and Ultimate? That, I don't know, it's tough because this is where the really meat of this discussion is. God, we're already at 9 minutes. What's worth it more to people? Is it a back catalog of, say, like 500 games to play? Or is it a front catalog of 75 day one games coming out? And that's where we get back to the main question. Who is Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for? Because I do love, they pointed this out, 75 plus day one games a year, including all Xbox published games day one. So what that is promising is that throughout the year, you are going to get over 75 games that are brand new. Think about this year, and it's funny because they highlighted this in their article, Game of the Year contenders. Blueprints, Expedition 33, Hollow Knight Silksong. 3 games that are very much Game of the Year contenders. And they were all available day one on Game Pass. That's an example of third-party stuff. Previously, I thought Lies of P in 2023 was the best value. And we also know coming up, there's Ninja Gaiden 4 first-party-wise, Black Ops 7, Keepers, Outer Worlds 2. It's stuff like that. And that's the question, because if you don't care about the day ones, then yeah, Ubisoft Classics is cool. Yeah, EA Play is cool. And they boast 400 plus games. But PlayStation Plus, if you go to the extra premium tier, has over 600 games. PlayStation Plus has always had more quantity-wise, and there's a lot of quality on there too. But that's why I'm saying this whole thing, there's some back and forth I've been a part of this morning. I've been part of multiple, and it's really just a subjective question of value. Who is Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for? And if it's for a back catalog of games that are not brand new, then technically, if you have a PlayStation and Xbox, you know, PlayStation Plus has more. But if you want the day ones and you want to play the new Black Ops game, that's that. I do think it's cool, though, with the whole Fortnite situation. I play the finals. There's some benefits to being a Game Pass subscriber, and I jump in the finals, and I get a boost in XP. I get a little bit of extra credits every month. And that's the thing. It's like, that's where this is the next thing. I was thinking before Game Pass, what I would typically do is buy like maybe 5 games a year, because I'm broke as a joke. I don't have much money. And I told myself, if Game Pass went beyond $25, I think $25 is the limit before it becomes what I'm about to say. But I was thinking, if I was not a Game Pass subscriber, what would I have done this year potentially? So here's that. Games I might have bought this year. Doom the Dark Ages, Battlefield 6, Expedition 33, maybe Split Fiction. You know, if you buy one, then you get both. Lies of P, the DLC, Ghost of Yotei. I'm not excited for Ghost of Yotei, but I feel like I would have been more accepting of bigger games if I wasn't bouncing around between so many with Game Pass. I feel like I probably would have bought Ghost of Yotei. Definitely would have got Bonanza. I probably would have got Metroid Prime 4 or Pokemon Legends ZA. And all that together, the red here is kind of like, you know, it's circumstantial, or it's for another platform. It's outside of Xbox. I mean, Yotei is kind of that too, I guess. So maybe I did the math wrong there. But, you know, I would have spent either just $300 if we ignore those, or the guaranteed, you know, I would have spent somewhere between $300 and $450. Now, this is what I did with Game Pass this year. Games I played and will probably play with Game Pass this year. I'm not going to list all these out verbally, but you can see here, there's 19 games I will have probably played by the end of the year. And this is not going to be a point before you think like, okay, we get it. You played a lot more than you would have if you bought. That's not going to be the point that I want to make. I'm more so trying to break down the worth, because another thing that Game Pass let me do this year is it kind of, again, I would have never played Outer Wilds or Celeste or Undertale if it wasn't for Game Pass. It kind of helped introduce me to things. And because I have that Game Pass mindset of trying out things more, then I was kind of like, with my spare time, I got Bionic Bay, I got Pico Park, I got a Kimbot, don't play that game, and I'm probably going to get an Unbeatable. And then obviously, like, these are 2 games I probably would have bought regardless. That's why, like, they were red up here. But there's something interesting to note. You'll see the spoilers here. So, like, averagely, if each of these games cost $30, I would have spent $780 if I played all these. And this is what I ended up actually paying. You know, I'm like, and this is before the price hike, but still, like, let's imagine the price hike happened. $360, and I would have spent around $213. So I would have still spent. See, some people are like, he's going to say how much cheaper it was, but I would have, I spent more than playing just the select handful of games that I really wanted to invest in. I would have maybe added Elden Ring Night Rain to this list, to be honest. That's probably another one. But again, like, it just depends on where I'm at in life and if I feel like I can afford it. But Game Pass, it's kind of like, because I just have it, I'm just like, what's on the service? But in the end, I spent more. I will have spent more. And that's where this whole question comes back. Is Game Pass worth it? Because like Battlefield 6, for instance, this doesn't cover the cost. But this is another thing where if you have Game Pass Ultimate or Game Pass, I think in general, you get discounts on certain games. You'd get 10% off. And like, Battlefield 6 is going to be a game I want this year. It's going to be a bit cheaper because I'm a Game Pass subscriber. And that sometimes happens where games are on discount too. But I just bring all this up because what I think Game Pass is now, what we have shifted to with these updated tiers, Ultimate is now a luxury service. I don't personally believe we could still call it the best value in gaming. Because now it's way more subjective. Before, we could call it that because it was only $15. Even when it got to 20, I feel like I could still fight that because for $15 to $20 a month, you could just play the newest Call of Duty, play the newest Double Fine game, play the newest Obsidian game. You could play the newest partnered things, Liza P, whatever, like not every year, but you get what I mean. And other stuff, even if you don't want to play new stuff, there's old stuff. You had both. And EA Play. But now it is twice that. And with it being $30 a month, that's half the price of a game. That's the full price of a game if you're looking at Hades 2 or Rematch. You could get Hades 2 for that money. And that's why it's up for debate now. It's a much more luxurious item. If we wonder why Xbox is doing this, they're raising the price of their consoles. They're about to release a freaking Ally that's $1,000. They're raising the price of Game Pass. Why are they doing this? Shout out to Gaming Duo Discord. I was talking with them this morning, and it seems like, cool, don't subscribe. But you're buying our games anyway on PlayStation. A lot of our games are the most played games currently already on Xboxes. We're easing our way to potentially tackling the PC market with these allies in the Play Anywhere program. It feels like Xbox is raising these prices because they just kind of already know we have franchises that sell. We got COD and Elder Scrolls, which sold gangbusters on PlayStation. They had a lot of games that were in the top 10 most sold PlayStation games for a long time, even their own in-house IP with Forza Horizon. So we're going to have to talk about this at some point, and I don't want to make this too long. It's been way too long already, but at some point we need to do like a 2 or 3 year, how long it's been? I think 2023. We need to do like a 2-year review this month for Xbox post Activision Blizzard King. Because there's been a lot of shifts since then and a lot of strategies to make their money back as fast as possible. And it's crazy because I did notice this, that apparently the subscription page to cancel Game Pass freaking crashed earlier. A lot of people are canceling Game Pass. And I asked you guys, because this is an important question too with Game Pass, how do you play your games? Do you primarily do it physically or digitally? Because that's a thing with Game Pass. If you're a physical owner, Game Pass doesn't really serve you. And there's only 39 votes so far, but you guys in the community are saying you primarily play digitally. And that's what a lot of PC people are doing. It just seems like Xbox is going this direction that they know where the market's going. They know what people are buying. They know what they can get away with. And for me, I think Game Pass is turning into a luxury item. I definitely think the middle and low tier is nice for people that don't need to play day one games. I think those are very still feasible and the most accessible options, especially now that they added cloud streaming to them. I think it's cool that Ultimate has 1440p and the Fortnite thing and Ubisoft Plus and the day ones. Like, there's still a lot of cool stuff on Ultimate. It's just that now it's no longer the best value in gaming. It's now a luxury value in gaming. You don't need Game Pass Ultimate. You don't need the Xbox ROG Ally. You don't need an Xbox. So we'll just raise the price of those, and those people that buy it, great. But for now, we see people buying our games on Steam. We see people buying our games on PlayStation, and we will still get this residual income from those peeps that can't let it go, which might be me included. As long as I can keep sampling stuff, then it's hard, because as long as I can get one good game a month, I still like Game Pass. But $30 is literally the price of a brand new indie game sometimes. It's tough, man. But here we are. And that's why I want to know what you think about it. Be awesome. Subscribe if you want to know more.